guys, it's Kita. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I know I've been gone for a while. I haven't posted a video in a long time, and that's basically because I've really been trying to figure out which direction I want to go with my channel. I know I started out with beauty, story times, stuff like that, and I'll probably continue to do like random things like that, but I just wanted to start to experiment with YouTube a little bit more and kind of venture out into different things I'm interested in. So I've been watching a lot of true crime videos lately, and when I was younger, I used to watch TV about murders and crimes and cops and detectives and all that type of stuff. Me and my mom used to watch stuff like that all the time, and I've always been so obsessed with it. And so I've been watching a lot of true crime videos, and I guess it just inspired me to do something that I actually enjoy talking about, enjoy researching and reading about. So the crime we're talking about today is about the Watts family. So I've read a lot about this case. I've seen a lot of videos about it, and so I've been so obsessed with this case all week. Like, I have been watching videos about it non-stop. So this story starts off with a husband and wife, Chris Watts and Shannon Watts, and they have two young girls, Bella and Celeste. I think they are 3 and 4, I'm pretty sure. They're located in Frederick, Colorado. It's actually very recent, so I think that's why I want to start with this one, just because it's very recent and it's been on my mind like crazy lately. So Shannon works as a sales rep for nutritional products. She basically does like social media and tries to get other people on board and buy the nutritional products. Chris works in the oil and gas industry. So Shannon, because of her job, she's very active on social media. It was not a surprise that she puts like her relationship and her children on social media. And so to social media and to Chris and Shannon's family and friends, they all saw Chris and Shannon's relationship as perfect. They thought they were very happy, and Shannon thought so also. They were very happy in the relationship. They were so happy to have 2 beautiful children. And so Shannon shared a lot of her feelings about her relationship online to her followers on social media.
He was the one for me, and he is amazing, and I can't tell you how wonderful he is.
Shannon talked about how she met her husband when he friended her on Facebook.
One thing led to another, and 8 years later, we have 2 kids. We live in Colorado, and he's the best thing that has ever happened to me.
And it wasn't very long until Shannon posted a video announcing her pregnancy and showing off to the world that her husband, Chris, was very excited that they were having a new addition to the family because she was pregnant with a boy, and they were planning on naming the baby Nico.
That's awesome. Guess when you want to, it happens.
Guess what, girls? Mommy has a baby in her belly.
So Shannon went on a business trip for her work, and she went along with another coworker, and this other coworker so happens to be one of Shannon's best friends. So while she was gone, Chris started to have an affair with one of his coworkers. Her name's Nicole. He had started this affair before she even left for this business trip, and Shannon noticed that Chris was being very weird towards her, didn't want to really acknowledge her, basically just acting very weird towards her, and of course she didn't know why because she didn't know about Nicole. Chris and Shannon would start to fight a lot, and then they planned on separating. So they're planning on getting a divorce, selling the house, and separating before Shannon even left for this business trip. So when Shannon left for this business trip, this was the perfect opportunity for Chris to experiment with his mistress even more. So this is the time where he started meeting up with her more, went out to eat with her more, basically giving her all the attention that he should have been giving Shannon. So here's where the story kind of gets weird. Shannon got back from her business trip and she got home very late at night, early morning, like 1 o'clock, 1:30, around there, and she was dropped off by her friend slash coworker. Her friend actually watched her go into the house, made sure she was okay before she drove off. But then the next morning, her friend was texting her, calling her, and Shannon wasn't answering her phone. And this is very not like Shannon, because Shannon was always up very early, texting all of her coworkers. Her friend didn't get any texts from her, no calls or anything. So her friend started to worry. But she just figured maybe she's sleeping, maybe she's tired, like I'll just leave her alone for, maybe an hour or so. Maybe I'll check back in with her later. Well, hours go by and Shannon has still not texted or called her friend back. So now her friend's getting really worried. So her friend goes over to her house and she has her 16-year-old son with her, and they realize that her car is in the garage, but no one's answering the door. And she knows that Shannon is pregnant. She gets migraines really bad, so maybe she passed out, maybe she was really sick, and no one's able to answer the door. So she's getting really worried. Now she's calling her husband, Chris. Chris isn't answering at first because he's at work, but then he finally answers. He says, "Okay, I'm on my way home. It'll be like 45 minutes. So her friend's outside of her house, knocking on the door, looking through the windows, and as she looks through the window, she realizes that her shoes that she wears almost every single day are sitting right there in the doorway. So she knows that she couldn't have left. Plus her car's there. So she calls Chris again, and Chris explains to her that Shannon took the girls to her friend's house to have a play date. But what I'm confused about is, how did she take the girls to go on a play date if her car is in the garage and the shoes that she always wears are in the doorway? It was just kind of, suspicious, I guess. Time passes and Chris is still not back from his work. She's getting really, really worried at this point. She calls Chris again and says, "Hey, if you're not here in 5 minutes, I'm gonna call the cops because I need to know if she's okay or not." So Shannon's friend proceeds to call the cops. The cops come, and the cop is knocking on the door, looking in the windows, and there's no possible way to get into the house without the key, or maybe to get in the garage. So a couple minutes pass while the cop is there with Shannon's friend and her son, and Chris finally pulls up. Now when Chris pulls up, he seems very calm, I guess. And I guess some people in situations like this are calm. Like they kind of just shut down and tell themselves everything's going to be okay. So sometimes it is okay to be calm in situations like this. But I've seen the video. It was actually like a cop cam video where the cop actually had a camera attached to him and actually was recording this whole scenario. So when the cop gets to her house, this is where the video starts. And then you see Chris walk up the driveway and he's acting very calm, very collected. And then Chris opens the garage door. When he opens the garage door, he proceeds to go into Shannon's car. And Shannon's friend can't help but see that the girls' car seats are still in the back seat. So now her friend is questioning, how is she with the girls on a play date if she didn't even take the car seats? So why Chris went into the car in the first place, nobody knows. The cop is looking around, Shannon's friend is looking around the house, and Chris is just kind of walking around the house on his phone the whole time. And he could be texting people, calling people, asking where Shannon is, if Shannon's okay, have they heard from her. But resources say that he was actually texting his mistress this whole time, that everyone in the house was looking for Shannon but him. So in this video, you can tell that Shannon's friend is very distressed. She's crying almost. She's pacing back and forth. in the house. She's obviously very worried about Shannon. So then her son is looking through the couch cushions and he finds Shannon's cell phone. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know that I rarely leave my phone at home. If I'm going somewhere that I'm going to be gone for like hours, I always bring my phone. And plus, Shannon was so active on social media all the time and always texting her coworkers back and always texting her friends back. And just this one day, she forgets her phone. So she grabs the phone and she realizes it's off. So she gives it to Chris, and Chris is turning on the phone. As Chris is turning on Shannon's phone, he's still kind of on his phone, texting whoever. So as he's on her phone, Shannon's friend is still walking around the house and realizes that the girl's medicine is on the counter. Now, Celeste, she's severely allergic to nuts. So Shannon always takes her EpiPen, always takes their inhalers because they both have asthma. And you'd think if they were going on a play date, she'd probably take their medicine since she takes them everywhere else they go. So as this is going on, the cop is asking Chris questions and he's just being very weird. I don't want to say rude, but he is being very quiet and not really acting on the situation. Like, he was just being very not worried, I guess. Not worried about his wife and 2 kids that are all of a sudden not home anymore and they're not getting back to anyone. I don't know about you guys, but I'd be pretty worried. So then Shannon's friend finds her purse. Now, she knows Shannon almost as much as Chris knows Shannon. So the fact that she didn't take her purse with her, that was a big red flag for her friend, and she realized something was not right. So after a couple more minutes of searching around the house, no Shannon, no Celeste, no Bella, they go outside and they realize the neighbors are out there and they realize what was going on. So the neighbor asks the cop, hey, I have a camera right here by my front door, and you can kind of see the front of their house. Maybe we can take a look. Maybe we can see Shannon leaving with the girls. At this point, this is where Chris's face changes a little bit. He looks a lot more worried, but it doesn't seem to be about Shannon or the girls. So they proceed to go in their neighbor's house. He turns on the TV, pulls up the security footage from the camera. The camera shows Shannon walking in to the house when her friend had dropped her off. And her friend sees that, like, yep, that's me. I dropped her off, made sure she went inside. But the thing is, after they played the footage further, they realized that Shannon and the girls didn't leave the house. They couldn't see them leave the house unless they went out the back door, which would be very odd for them to do, on top of all these other odd things that Shannon had left that she never would leave at her house. So watching this video made me realize that, okay, something is going on. As the security footage goes further, there is a video of Chris backing his truck into the garage, like partially. And you can see him put stuff into the back of his truck.
Rick then backs his truck up in the driveway, parking it so a portion of the bed is in the garage. It also shows Watts walking around his truck and putting items inside, including a red gasoline can. Then Watts drives away from his home.
Now, at the point of me watching this video, of me watching Chris watch this video, he was now leaning back and forth. His hands were on his head like this. He seemed very, very worried because he was obviously hiding something. So now that this whole search was over in their house, they filed a missing persons report and they interviewed Chris.
Really busy Tuesday. Another developing story that we're following for you. Police looking for a pregnant Frederick woman and her 2 children who have seemingly vanished without a trace.
Shannon Watts and her 2 young daughters have not been seen since early yesterday morning.
They're doing their best right now to figure out if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, or they went somewhere.
On Monday night, Christopher Watts couldn't sleep.
No, I wasn't gonna kiss him to bed tonight. That's why last night was just horrible.
His pregnant wife Shannon and 2 daughters Celeste and Bella went missing early Monday morning after Shannon came home from a business trip in Arizona.
I left around 5:15. She was still here.
Christopher tried calling her phone several times throughout the day with no answer, but when he got home on Monday, her purse, keys, and phone was left in the house.
Did you guys get into an argument before she left?
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that. But I just want them back. I just want them to come back, and if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like, somebody has to.
First of all, he's laughing in the video. Second of all, I see right through him. Like, he is not worried at all. He's just like brushing this off his shoulder like it's nothing. So after a couple days go by, people are suspecting that Chris might have done something to them. So they start interrogating him. There's like 7 interrogation videos of him just acting like he has no idea what happened. Like, why would he do anything to his family? And then finally, on August 16th, 2018, he admits to killing Shannon. Now, his version of the story kind of went like, I witnessed Shannon strangle Bella and Celeste, and out of rage, I then strangled Shannon and killed her. So this really just did not add up to investigators and family and friends, because they all know that Shannon would never do something so horrid like killing her own children. She loved those girls. Those girls were her whole entire world. So they didn't really believe Chris, and to be honest, I wouldn't either. I feel like he definitely did something to all of them. Then finally, he admits to killing all of them. Now, when Chris was being questioned and he admitted to killing his pregnant wife and 2 girls, so after hours of questioning him, they finally figured out how everything happened. They found out that the night that Shannon got home from her business trip, her and Chris were arguing about splitting, about the divorce, and Chris decided to strangle her with his bare hands. Not only did he kill his pregnant wife, he also proceeded to smother his daughter Bella and also smother his daughter Celeste. Now, this is before he packs up for work and packs up his truck, puts things in the bed of his truck, things as in his wife Shannon, his daughter Bella, and his daughter Celeste, their bodies in the back of his truck. This happened early morning on August 13th. So after he put their bodies in the back of his truck, he then went to a job site of his and he actually put Bella and Celeste's bodies in the large holding tanks of oil. Then not too far away from where the oil tanks are. He then buried Shannon's body in a shallow grave in the grass. People could not believe it. Everyone in their community never thought of Chris in that way. They all thought he was a genuine person who loved his wife, who loved his children. They seemed like such a happy family on social media, to their family members, to their friends. So for this to happen, the community was just in shock.
We've been here 2 years. We've been with the pool with these guys here, and it's too close to home. You know, I got a little girl here, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Cale and his 3-year-old daughter Emery were like many of the young families who showed up at the vigil.
We talked about it throughout the week, and you know, Emery and I, you know, they're in heaven now. They're flying together, and it's okay to cry, right? It's a sad moment.
As the vigil started, a few raindrops fell. Wind made it hard to keep candles lit, but still, hundreds showed up. Families with kids of all ages coming together to mourn in their own way.
And especially after Chris Watts was sentenced on Monday, November 19th, 2018.
This afternoon, my office filed formal charges against Christopher Lee Watts. The charges that we filed are as follows. 3 counts of murder in the first degree after deliberation, 1 count naming Shannon Watts, 1 count naming Bella, 1 count naming Celeste. Each of those is a Class 1 felony. We filed 1 count of unlawful termination of a pregnancy in the first degree, which is a Class 2 felony as a result of Shannon being pregnant at the time of her death. We filed 3 counts of tampering with a deceased human body, each of which is a Class 3 felony, each of which count obviously names Shannon, Bella, and Celeste as victims.
This story is just so crazy to me. Like, everyone was wondering why would he do this? Of course, Chris is never going to answer that question for us. Of course, he has his own reasoning for it. And a lot of people think the reasoning for it was because he wanted to start a new life with his girlfriend, Nicole. So why not just separate, get a divorce, and let them live happy with with each other while you go live happy with your new girlfriend? Like, I don't know why that wasn't an option for him. He, I guess, felt the need that he had to just wipe out his whole family and start over. And he will be starting over in jail for the rest of his life. No opportunity for parole. He is going to be in jail for the rest of his life, and he deserves it. So that is the story of the Watts family and how Chris Watts brutally murdered his pregnant wife and his 2 beautiful little girls. I don't know how someone could do that to your own family. So guys, let me know how you guys feel about this case in the comments down below. Comment down any different cases you guys would like me to talk about. I will be linking the Shannon donation in my description box if you would like to participate in that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and follow me on Instagram at Kita_Marsh13. See you guys in my next video. Bye.